Very good race car. And of course, his son Michael, hey, if anything, he's a little bit better.
You know, it seems that for 10 years we've been asking AJ when he's going to slow down, and he's not showing any sign of it at all. Rick Mears, the Penske creation, a PC90, new designation for the Penske cars. Rick Mears looking for career win number 27. He won the last race of last year on the road course at Laguna Seca. And a flag flies, a mere mile to go for Rick Mears now. Will he score another win? He won here in 1982 and last year on the backstretch. Unchallenged. Very little lies between Mears and the checkered flag now. The Pennzoil car works its way off of the fourth turn. Nick Fenoral, the starter, has twin checkered flags, and Rick Mears has scored the first win of the 90s.
I would say this is probably one of Sullivan's hardest races. There's the white flag. They're just starting their final lap. Sullivan goes by the starter stand. Nick Fenoral waves that white flag. But I would think this is one of Sullivan's harder races. They have been flat out through the whole event. They had that long yellow period, but Sullivan has had to fight all day long.
See the turbulence at the back of Danny Sullivan's wing. Don't forget, the Olympic Festival is next here on ESPN. And Danny Sullivan on his final lap. Bobby Rahal out of contact with Sullivan. Fittipaldi not in contact. The top three positions should come to the line without any problem whatsoever. And Danny Sullivan driving for Marlboro and Roger Penske at this a Penske Speedway track is on his way now toward the checkered flag. Nick Fenoral has it in what has been a very long afternoon. There's Danny Sullivan on the pit straight now. A right turn, a left turn lie just ahead. We're looking at Danny Sullivan as he makes the final turn, and the checkered flag is just ahead. It's Danny Sullivan's 14th career win, his 8th on a road course.
We mentioned earlier on, you drive these things until they break, and that's what Rahal is going to try and do here. Make this last 4 laps. Remember, it's only 4 miles here at Nazareth, but it's a critical 4 miles for Rahal.
Don't forget later tonight here on ESPN LSU at Florida, 7:30 Eastern, and of course live here tomorrow from Pennsylvania International Raceway, the Bosch Spark Plug Grand Prix, as the IndyCars could very well resolve the PPG Championship.
Mears has not made a mistake. Took his chances. He was the best through turn 2. That's where we saw him make all his moves. Fast out of 2. Down this hill here he was faster, and always chopped down to turn 3 right there. That was the difference between winning and losing here today.
So Rick Mears, as he comes onto the straightaway this time, sees the white flag indicating 1 more mile to go. $250,000 lies just ahead for Rick Mears, and perhaps his second victory of the season, his first scored back at the first race at Phoenix, Arizona, as Mears with Mario Andretti right behind on the track, but not in competition with him, just behind. In second place, his teammate Fittipaldi. Allinger Jr. runs in third place as the checkered flag comes out for Rick Mears, the winner of the 1990 Marlboro Challenge. All that must be done is get past Fittipaldi. 2 laps to go.
Oh, he's right behind him at turn 2. He takes the high line.
Mears tries the high, tries to keep the momentum going. He's tucked under the wing of Fittipaldi.
Look at
He's
Fittipaldi
tucked right there.
He moves down to protect the inside line, but Mears is all over him like a hot rash.
Fittipaldi with the white flag out. 1 lap to go for both. Tries to hold off Mears. The move will come in turn 2. They come off that corner. They head for the backstretch. Mears comes plenty wide off the corner, trying to keep the momentum moving, but it stretches out a bit as Fittipaldi pulls away. Now coming toward the checkered flag, it's Fittipaldi in front. Mears still trying to catch him, still moves high. He doesn't give up to the finish, but it's over. Fittipaldi.
Rick very definitely came by on the caution, and Michael tried to point it out to him as he moved past. So now it won't make a difference in the points, though it could have made about $115,000 difference as we come onto the white flag lap. Watching Danny Sullivan, he's led all the way.
Not only will Rick want to know what's going on, but I guarantee you Michael Andretti is on the radio now to his team manager saying, let's get this thing sorted out because he should not have passed me on the yellow flag situation.
All right, let's see if we can get an audio update. Here's Gary Gerald.
And indeed, they've registered the complaint with a card official. Michael on the radio said he passed me on a local yellow. Michael, not happy, Paul.
Well, there was very little question about it when you look from the onboard camera. But now we watch Danny Sullivan. And as he takes the Penske colors around for the very last time, climbing to the top of the hill. This is certainly going to give him some negotiating room when he starts talking about his ride for next year and whoever it may be with. Luyendyk just getting under Eddie Cheever for 9th place. So Arie Luyendyk still battling with Cheever as they come to the line.
Oh, look at Cheever get sideways under acceleration. Tries the inside, tries the outside.
And still trying him as they come through, too. They come down with slower traffic line just ahead. And Cheever locks the brakes into the corner. Comes wide in the corner, and Luyendyk has a position. And there is the checkered flag for Danny Sullivan. And Sullivan from green to checkered.
What may be the retirement from competition by the great 4-time winner, A.J. Foyt. We may see another 4-time winner crowned in Rick Mears. And the white flag has been thrown to Rick Mears, indicating 1 lap to go. Now less than 2 miles for Rick Mears. If he holds on, he will become the 3rd 4-time winner of the Indianapolis 500 here on the 75th running of the great race. Chris Mears as Rick runs the straightaway. One corner left to go. 1 corner left to run. He can see the checkered flag just ahead of him now.
1 lap to go. If Bobby Rahal has anything else to deliver, now is the time to send it special delivery. Here he is in turns 1 and 2, and he's closer this time. He's moved in just that much more, but on the straightaway, look at Fittipaldi leap away.
Up to turn 3.
And out of the turn where they've had trouble before, had that big hesitation in the race, St. Antoine and Woodbridge. Now up onto the Chrysler Freeway, down to Congress for the final time. Emerson Fittipaldi still in front and draws away. Coming up to that hard 90-degree left-hand turn. Onto Beaubien. Headed for Larned. Fittipaldi trying to win it again. This track sure likes Brazilian drivers.
Well, it would seem.
But remember, he's had trouble just at that tunnel entrance twice, David. Rahal.
He's only going to do it 1 more time. Down to Cobo Hall, which is the slowest corner here. If he's going to have a braking problem, it could occur there, but he seems to traverse that. Oh, Jeff Andretti in front in the 86 car. Yellow flag is out.
Final time through.
Ooh, he's going to have to pass Andretti in the tunnel.
Or maybe just on the other side by the pump house. Here they come out. It's clear. It's a run to the finish now. Closing in. Rahal, look how he cuts it down into that final straightaway now. From Sao Paulo, Brazil, and Miami, Florida. Fighting to the finish. Checkered flag about to be unfurled. And at the line, 44-year-old Emerson Fittipaldi has just won his 13th kart PPG race. 1 more, and that would tie his mark with his Formula One victories. A great...
As Rick Mears works his way off of the 4th turn and now sees the white flag in the Michigan 500. Rick Mears may be on his way to back-to-back 500-mile race wins.
Well, he certainly earned it. He certainly deserves it after that. But here's the guy right there, Arie Luyendyk, who's really put the pressure on and surprised everybody. Look at Chris Mears. Poker face. She's been to a lot of races.
Rick Mears on the backstretch. Arie Luyendyk trying to close. The distance is probably too far. Rick Mears works his way through 3. Here comes Luyendyk as he comes through 3 as well. Now Mears makes the final turn down for the start-finish line, and Rick Mears has won the Michigan 500. Nick Finoro's white flag indicating 1 more lap around this 2.79-mile circuit at Surfers Paradise. We suggested at the beginning of the show that these first races of the year are most unusual, and this certainly proves it.
It's going to quiet the critics on reliability for the new Chevrolet engine. Obviously, they've done their homework. The Penske car, a brand new engine car combination, and here their last lap, they're running 1-2.
It does not appear that Mears can challenge his teammate at all. And so he very wisely begins to drop back as Emerson Fittipaldi out in front. Mears in second. Rahal now closing just a little bit on Mears, but not close enough to cause any damage on this last lap.
There's the interval back to Rahal. You just got a glimpse of it. Fittipaldi gestured around by Ross Bentley, who points Fittipaldi to the inside. On this, the final lap of the race.
Boy, and those are little kind of help you really need in traffic late in the race for a guy to see you coming and give you enough room to get by without causing any trouble.
Ross Bentley out of Vancouver, Canada, certainly saw the leader coming and waved him to the inside of the course. So number 5, Emerson Fittipaldi, completing now his final lap. Only hoping that that new engine and these rain tires hold up through the end of this race. Look at Fittipaldi. He's been sitting back in the order through most of the day. And here, after a rain shower in the closing laps, Fittipaldi is able to surge forward, pick up the lead of the race, and drives on to the first win of the 1992 season. The final turn complete. And Emerson Fittipaldi now sees the twin checkered flags, and Emerson Fittipaldi has won.
Here comes Fittipaldi heading for the final 2 turns. He's through that final corner. And Emerson Fittipaldi looks at the checkered flag, picks up the win, his second of this season.
The white flag has just come out. Emerson Fittipaldi is heading down towards Station 5 now. There he is, the leader of the race. Remember, there is some oil on the track lying just ahead, so this could be a very precarious corner for all of them. The corner workers waving them over off the line. Fittipaldi acknowledges it. Christian Danner's car right on the edge of the track. I wouldn't want to be sitting in that race car at this moment. I'd like to be here. Emerson Fittipaldi leading this race on the final lap. Just over 3 miles to go.
Dangerous, difficult situation at Station 5, but you can't do anything about it because this is absolutely a shootout. These 3 drivers still have a chance. Remember, a mistake can so easily happen, even on the last lap.
Allinger Jr. and Bobby Rahal both very definitely seen an opportunity as they tried to close up during Hurry Downs. Now they're off of Hurry Downs through the carousel, heading for the kink. First, second, and third all running right together here at Road America in what has been a terrific race thus far, and looks like it's going to be a whale of a finish. Now they have an opportunity to pass once again if they can only close in.
And look at Rahal has a little look down the inside, but he's too far behind Al Jr. But look, he made him at least 2 or 3 car lengths under braking. He only has one more opportunity, but Fittipaldi looks safe.
The opportunity for Rahal will be corner 14, the last corner on the circuit. Already Fittipaldi makes that turn in and out. Rahal comes in behind Allinger Jr. They will drag up the hill right behind the leader of the race, Emerson Fittipaldi. And he's done it. Emerson Fittipaldi takes the checkered flag. A couple of the crews, though, Ed Nathman most notably at the Newman Haas team, is limping a little bit after that one. Got off the bike once or twice. The white flag comes out to Emerson Fittipaldi, whose lead has been nibbled away, probably more because he's relaxing just a bit. He came across the line 11 seconds ahead of Paul Tracy in second place. Al Unser Jr. is trying to close on Tracy, but it seems like it is to no avail at this point. Fittipaldi going for his second win this season on a natural terrain course, the first coming at Road America.
If Al Unser Jr. stays in the position he's in, and if he takes the championship lead, remember, they have the development of
Scott Pruitt. Looks like a motor let go on Scott. As he's by the edge of the course, they'll bring out a local yellow. It won't affect the run of the race.
But I wanted to say, Gallas are bringing out the development of the chassis. Oh, Emerson slows way down, can't see through the smoke. I'll finally get it said. Al Jr. has a new car coming to Nazareth, which might make him even faster.
Taking it so very careful. He saw that smoke, couldn't see clearly around the corner, and decided just to tiptoe through. Now, with a burst of power, Emerson Fittipaldi takes his 17th career win.
Bem-vindo, brasileiro. Bem-vindo, Emerson Fittipaldi, para mais uma grande vitória. Mostrando que realmente, nesse final de temporada, ele acertou esse binômio. Tá voando baixo. Amanhã tem tudo para ganhar. 98, vai para a 99ª volta. São 100 voltas. E o Boésio mantém a 5ª posição. Bandeira branca para Emerson Fittipaldi. Atenção que vem a quadriculada. Vem a quadriculada. Vamos acompanhar o brasileiro que vence o Marlboro Challenge. Vai receber a bandeirada quadriculada Emerson Fittipaldi, provando que está no melhor da sua forma e pode disputar o título. Bandeira quadriculada para o brasileiro Emerson Fittipaldi.
There's Paul Tracy, the 12 car. He is so close to
to a victory, and I'm telling you, once he wins, he is going to be very hard to catch. He fell off a mountain bike that he was playing with earlier in the week. His hands are cut and bruised. His right ankle is very sore. He was icing it down heavily yesterday, but I don't imagine he feels any of that now as Paul Tracy on his final 3 turns, and he will look at a checkered flag if only he can make it here through the hairpin in safety. Paul Tracy makes a turn onto the straightaway. The checkered flag will lie just ahead, and Paul Tracy has finally done it. He wins an IndyCar race. Paul Tracy becomes a champion in the IndyCars, the 10th different driver to win in a Penske car, and Paul Tracy has done it.
Just 2.5 miles to go for his second win at the Indianapolis 500. And there it is. Another Penske car heading into the record book. 2.5 miles to go. Fittipaldi works through the short chute, now into the second turn. One more full straightaway to run. 2 corners of short chute, and then half a stretch, and Fittipaldi will be home. Luyendyk tried to close, couldn't do it, dropped even further back. In fact, it may become a battle for second between Mansell and Luyendyk. Here comes Fittipaldi, Emerson Fittipaldi. The final turn for home, the checkered flag, and Emerson Fittipaldi has won his second Indianapolis 500.
Here comes the white flag. 1 more lap to go. The distance is still 8 seconds.
Boesel stays behind. He doesn't need to pass Emerson. He doesn't need to do that extra 2 miles just in case anything happens. Robbie Gordon now is up behind Boesel. That is not a fight. Oh, that is a fight for position.
Absolutely it is.
It is a fight. That's the reason why Boesel would need to get by Emerson.
Exactly, and they are fighting for 7th place.
Robbie Gordon always seems to get into these fights at the end of races for position, and he is spectacular. But Robbie Gordon, one of the stars of the future, he only has this straight and the last section of curves to try and take that position from Boesel.
So Emerson Fittipaldi runs now for the checkered flag. He is unchallenged. The battle for 7th place goes on behind him at the same time. Paul Tracy is trying to close on Nigel Mansell. The final sweeping carousel turn for Emerson Fittipaldi as he comes down the straightaway. Watch Robbie Gordon as he tries Boesel behind him. Now Paul Tracy takes a look at the white flag. 1 more lap to go for Tracy. Traffic ahead of him. We watch for that battle for 2nd place. Izich is ready to stream under the flag as well, but Tracy has a commanding lead over the rest of the field.
This will tighten the points chase if it finishes this way, because of course Emerson Fittipaldi will close up on Nigel Mansell. Not terrifying him, not making him shake in his boots exactly, but closing up and making the season a good deal more interesting here at the halfway point.
2nd win of the season, 2nd win of the career for Paul Tracy. He finishes out this lap an extra $100,000 because he started on the pole and has carried it all the way to the checkered flag. No opposition for Tracy, and the battle for 2nd place continues to be broken off for the moment. So it's Tracy, followed by Fittipaldi, followed by Mansell, and Stefan Johansson in 4th. Now Paul Tracy being so very careful. He makes the move into the last chicane. The final left. And Paul Tracy sees the twin checkered flags the 2nd time in his career, and Paul Tracy has won here at Cleveland. As the white flag, 1 more lap to go, will be displayed to Paul Tracy as he flashes over the start-finish line alongside of Teo Fabi.
As we watch the cars that are remaining try to do the passing, remember there is no more blocking allowed. Wally Dallenbach is watching them. That's like a policeman watching a speeder.
So Paul Tracy runs alone, unchallenged at the lead of the race. He has only to coast it home.
And if he had pain from his throat early in the game, I bet he's not feeling it right now.
Fittipaldi in 2nd place. That battle that you see between Mario Andretti and Teo Fabi is not a battle for position. They're just running together on the circuit.
Remember, this is exactly the finishing order that we experienced last week in Cleveland. The Penske cars running 1-2. Incredible domination here in the center part of the season.
And it looks like Paul Tracy may in fact get several major accomplishments behind him. His 3rd win, 2 in a row, and a Canadian winning for the first time in the IndyCars in front of his home crowd. Paul Tracy has taken the win here in the Molson Indy Toronto. One more lap to go. Mario Andretti made it back into the pits. They're still working on his car. Arie Luyendyk made it back into the pits. They did replace that tire, and he is back into the competition. And Scott Goodyear also made it, limping back into the pits as well. But we are on the final lap for Paul Tracy, looking for his 4th win this season, and a road course win once again. Nigel Mansell will continue in the points lead if they finish in this order, as one assumes they will. But Paul Tracy is certainly showing his power, and if he was sent out as the rabbit, he took it all the way to the checkered flag for Roger Penske.
And he is the walking wounded. Walking, not when he's in the racing car. He's been on crutches since that terrible crash on Friday here. Somebody else is off the road big time, but Paul Tracy in the car doesn't seem to have too much trouble.
No one in contest at the top of the order. Tracy followed by Mansell, followed by Rahal and Bossell. Fittipaldi picks up some good luck and moves into 5th place. He climbs the hill for the final time today in the Texaco Havoline 200. And Paul Tracy acknowledges the checker and takes the win. 87 laps are now complete for Emerson Fittipaldi as he comes onto the pit straight unchallenged. There comes the white flag as he starts the 89th and final lap. As Teresa Fittipaldi cheers him on, he's not in contest at all, so feel a little safe in showing you that at this point. Robbie Gordon comes across the line, 17 seconds behind Fittipaldi in 2nd place on this, the final lap.
Constant development on these cars. Gordon, Nigel Bennett told me they do 110 days of wind tunnel work per year with this car, with their cars. Next year's car is already being built by the boys in Poole, such as Penske's organization.
So Emerson Fittipaldi works his way on the final lap. It'll be 2 years in a row for Emerson Fittipaldi, now the new master of the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. But perhaps even more important is he will pick up the 20 laps for the win of the race and a point for leading the most laps. And for Penske, you remember last year where his Winston Cup team won, and so did his IndyCar team with Fittipaldi here last year. Looks like another one of those weekends. Rusty Wallace won last night. Here's Fittipaldi going for his 20th career win. Fittipaldi a full 16 seconds ahead of Robbie Gordon last time across the line, and here he comes. Chevrolet, Fittipaldi, a Penske chassis, and Fittipaldi takes the win. The master of the natural terrain road courses, but in fact Paul Tracy has proven to be the road course master this year as he heads for yet another victory. Jens Wintrall with the white flag. The final lap of the 1993 PPG IndyCar World Series, and Paul Tracy merely has to hold on right at 2 miles now. He is unchallenged by his teammate Fittipaldi, who continues in 2nd. Fittipaldi in turn is unchallenged by Luyendyk. Scott Goodyear is in 4th. Unser Jr. is 5th. No one in challenge in the top 5 positions.
And if you look back at the what if he had won Mid-Ohio? What if he had won Milwaukee? What if he had won Phoenix? How that would have totally changed the face of this championship.
Paul Tracy climbs the hill for the last time in this 1993 season at Laguna Seca, down through the corkscrew, looking at the possibility of his 5th win of the season. As Derek suggests, what if this car, this man could perhaps have been the champion, but for 1 or 2 mistakes during the season. The final turn, the final straightaway ahead for Paul Tracy. And Paul Tracy climbs the hill. The Marlboro car, the Penske powered by Chevrolet, takes the checkered flag. So Emerson Fittipaldi, the car number 2. And by the way, we are well over our time block here scheduled for this race. And we're not going to get to interview Emerson, assuming he is the winner. At the end of the race, we're going to be very, very short on time because of the accidents. Almost a half an hour over.
And the second fastest man on the racetrack at the moment is Nigel Mansell. You see him on the outside there, around the outside of Davy Jones, I believe. However, he's trying to get by the leader. That will only put him on the same lap. So Mansell is in an uphill battle and a struggle right now.
Emerson Fittipaldi on the final lap of the run. Al Unser Jr. no chance whatsoever. I'm sure were we able to talk to him, he would tell you that his Marlboro Penske was incredible and the Elmore engine worked great. It's the job that it's doing now and has done all day. As Emerson Fittipaldi screams for the checker, Nigel Mansell moves to the inside, but he's still a lap behind the lead.
Down the front straight here, it's Unser Jr., Mansell, Gordon, Boisel, Mario, and then Michael Andretti, then Mauricio Gugelmin as we start the final lap.
Well, how about that stat you revealed at the beginning of the show, that for the last 3 years, the man who started second went on to win. This could be the 4th consecutive year for that.
And everybody will battle for second next year. How do you figure that one out? You're trying to qualify for the pole. I want to only be 1,000 slower than the pole.
Just think the life or the feelings that little Al is leading right now, knowing how bad he really wants to win for the Roger Penske team, worrying about the transmission and traffic. A cut tire could even lose the race for him right now.
He's in clear traffic, though, Bobby, with only a couple of turns to go. He could probably, if he can accelerate off the hairpin here, coast home.
Slide that far, Sam.
Al Unser Jr. about to reassert himself as the king of the beach as he takes the Penske car across the line and picks up the twin checkered flags. Al Unser Jr. is the winner.
This race is definitely not over, but it's looking good for little Al as he pulls a visor off to get a clear view. One of those tearaways on the front of his helmet.
Well, just to clarify,
by the way, was Rick Mears in 1991. The last time car 31 started on the pole was 1919. If he wins it, it will be the first win ever by a car numbered 31.
We have a yellow. We have
got another yellow.
Yes.
Box. Now watch for little Al. Let's make sure he gets through clearly and there's no debris problem.
Remember, he has no radio. Penske cannot radio him on this, so he has to go by the yellow lights on the track. Yeah, but don't forget now, it looks like this race will probably end under a yellow because I don't see him getting that cleaned up with just a couple laps to go, and he's going to be very conservative here.
I don't know, Danny. Sometimes these crews will get that debris off real quickly.
So this is it.
So barring some remarkable occurrence now, Al Unser Jr. will win the 78th running of the Indianapolis 500. He has 2.5 miles to go. The final lap will occur under the yellow flag. The rules don't permit them to turn the yellow on somewhere around the track. But Big Al and Roger Penske both know it's not really over until he crosses that final line, as trite as it may sound.
And Paul,
that driver in that cockpit has to be listening to the car, has to be making sure that even at 80 miles an hour, I can make it, right, Bobby?
Yes, that's for certain, sure. You know, even if the white flag came out, the people down here just roaring. Down here now, when they come by, the people are clapping. They're all standing up. Everybody is screaming. So obviously, they're very happy.
And Bobby, one of the second turn. Go ahead, Danny. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Paul. One of the things here, this has got to be the longest lap in history for him. He just wants it to be over, and he'd much prefer to do it at 220 miles an hour.
Little Al's mom heading for winner's circle. A brand new winner's circle, by the way, at the Speedway here this year. Little Al's going to get to christen it. It truly is a circle right in front of the master control tower.
I think all but of little Al driving this big old thing called a Hummer, a big Jeep back and forth around the Speedway with a big grin on his face ever since he won the pole position. It has been his month of May at Indianapolis.
Well, of course, the same thing's happening down here in turn 4. They are all waving hats, cheering, going crazy, and little Al is not about to put that hand up until he crosses that start-finish line.
History in the making. Car 31. That number scoring its first win, and Mercedes-Benz in its very first race in the IndyCars in modern times wins the Indianapolis 500 as a brand new engine.
They stand 1-2 in the championship, and they're 1-2 in this race right now.
Same contestants, different engines. Back to the Elmore D engine for these two cars.
You can watch little Al when he started the race. He ran a groove that would be more or less what he thought was in front of him to disturb the air, so it'd make it a little bit harder on him. Then after he gets a little bit of distance like this, he goes back to what feels good to him, or his normal groove.
And they indicate that the yellow flag comes out. There it is, and that is for rain. So on the 180th lap, there you got a good idea of moisture building up on the camera on Michael Andretti's car. Al Unser Jr., the way he won the Indianapolis 500 a week ago, And here it is today. They've decided they could not get the track to dry conditions within the remaining 8 laps. And so Al Unser Jr. has won 3 in a row. Last time anybody won 3 in a row was Michael Andretti in 1991 when he won Vancouver, Mid-Ohio, and then Elkhart. But Team Penske has done it once again. And for Team Penske, it's 4 in a row.
And
Phoenix,
a 1, 2, 3
Long Beach,
finish.
Indianapolis, and here. And look at this, Sam.
Line abreast, finishing 1, 2, 3. We have not seen this for many, many years. It's an incredible, historic moment. Look at that.
They need to stick their chest out now because, like you said, Sam, you don't see that very often. That Penske has to be about the proudest guy that I could ever imagine.
White flag, 1 more lap to go, comes out for Paul Tracy. He runs alone, 12 seconds ahead of his teammate Emerson Fittipaldi. Bobby Unser, Little Al, those are some pretty critical points positions, sitting just in front of him, currently occupied by Guzman and Rede.
And, you know, however hard that he would charge right now would be determined by how much he thinks his front end is bent. We know the car's capable of doing it. But if he thinks he's got a problem, he can't brake hard, he can't take any chances. That's his problem.
So run safe rather than risk the car just to grab a couple of extra points there.
He's a smart young man. If he knows he's got a problem, and I know that Roger Penske would be telling him what he thought his opinion was of that same situation. Don't take a chance, don't bend it.
You can see the evidence of the contact with Little Al earlier. Every time we get a good look at the nose of Paul Tracy's car, that may be a scar that will come back to haunt him in future years. But for the moment, it gives him a potential victory with less than half a lap to go now on Belle Isle in Detroit. Final set of turns for Paul Tracy. So very close to Canada and many Canadians in this crowd. So he'll get a hearty reception as he comes down through the checkered flag. And there it is. The twin checkered flags come out. And Paul Tracy takes the win. Today will be the first time that Penske cars have won 5 races in a row. 100 laps are complete now, 101. The white flag, 1 more circuit to go for Al Unser Jr. as he closes on traffic. Fittipaldi sits just behind, looking for any opportunity that he can find. Little Al has to concern himself with traffic just ahead. But that traffic should be well aware of him. In the meantime, Gordon and Mansell in their fight.
Great fight with Gordon and Mansell. Gordon smells the position. He's going to give it everything he has.
Little Al heading for the backside of the course now, coming around Marco Greco. Running alone.
And you see the room he gave him, moved all the way out round the high side, just in case Greco came in too deep into the apex.
Fittipaldi does not come around Greco. Al Unser Jr. in the final curves of this track that it produced at one time the closest finish ever in IndyCar history. It'll be a little wider than that as Al Unser Jr. comes onto the straightaway. And the checkered flag comes out, and they make it 6 in a row for Roger Penske as Al Unser Jr. from the pole takes the win.
They've already had to change his seat, Paul. He was doing that yesterday. I was down this morning popping his back. He's been down with the doctors while they've been working on it.
Jim Swintow with the white flag. 1 more lap to go for Al Unser Jr.
And he's up right behind Villeneuve, who is almost to get lapped, but of course it won't make any difference at this point in the race.
So Al Unser Jr. from the pole to a win here if he can only complete this lap, and that seems so very certain at this point. In a marvelous season for Little Al.
Remember, this will make 5 out of 6 times that Al Unser Jr. has started from the pole and gone on to win the race.
You know, he's going to outdo his father's record here, his dad, Big Al's record before too long, because he's winning an awful lot of races this year. He's already getting up with A.J. Foyt and my brother Al.
Al, your brother's one thing. He goes after your record. That's real trouble, right?
Terrible.
So Al Unser Jr. down the final long straightaway, looking at career win number 24 and the 5th of the year. A right, and then a left, and then a checkered flag lies in wait on the runways of the Burke Lakefront Airport. And Al Unser Jr. has taken his 5th win of the year. Al Unser Jr., the leader of the race.
Computers, of course, everywhere now in the business. IndyCar just did a deal with IBM. It's an electronic world of racing. Used to be a mechanical world. It's changing over to at least a partially electronic world. Al Unser Jr. has finished 8 of the 9 last races he has run at Mid-Ohio.
And he works now on the final lap. The white flag already given by Jim Swintal. And Al Unser Jr. came across the line 5.5 seconds ahead of Paul Tracy. But Paul Tracy at least has him in his sights at the moment. And Al Unser Jr. can't afford to lag too much behind the slower cars that sit ahead of him. Looking for Tracy. Tracy is still well back. Al Unser Jr. has to decide. Does he come around Parker Johnstone and Mark Smith, or does he just stay there?
The finish line is only 2 turns away from where he is right now, so he'll probably stay where he is.
Al Unser Jr. heading through the carousel now, out of the carousel, and for the checkered flag as Al Unser Jr. scores his 6th win of the season and the 25th win of his career.
There is another traffic jam that Al Unser Jr. has to pass. There's 4 cars, including Bozell, Michael, Willie G. Ribbs, and Goodyear.
Little Al comes down to get bottled up behind that. Tracy's closing now. Tracy looking for room to race on Little Al. Fittipaldi is closing too. Little Al comes to the inside. Just about a lap and a half to go now.
3 wide, and Tracy needs a good run in traffic if he's to catch Al Jr. All 3 Penske cars are in a line without team orders.
They cross the line. Al Unser Jr. in front. The white flag being given to all 3 at the top. Tracy in closing position. Fittipaldi in 3rd, and he closes in. On the backstretch, the final lap of the run.
Too far behind for Tracy. He's too far behind to make a run.
Al Unser Jr. makes his final turn off the corner, and Al Unser Jr. picking up the lead in the last 5 laps, takes the 26th win of his career and the 7th of the year, and takes another jump in PPG points. Al Unser Jr. has taken the win. He can sense that victory.
The doctors filled him full of bodily fluids just to try and get him ready for this race, and it's obviously worked.
The interval remains the same. Just over 2 seconds between 1st and 2nd. Robbie Gordon runs alone now. Al Unser Jr. about to make it 8 victories in the season, matching Michael Andretti from 1991. But if he does it, he will only have taken 11 races to Michael Andretti's 13. Still not a championship, but so very close. He could wrap it up in our coverage here on ESPN next week at Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
Al Jr., who won here last year, won the inaugural event here back in 1990. So he knows what it's all about, but that's how close Robbie Gordon has come to winning an IndyCar race. He's what, 2.5 or 3 seconds behind.
Only 2 names have ever appeared in the winner's point here in Vancouver. Al Unser Jr. has done it again. The battle running to the finish, if it develops, will be between Fittipaldi and Unser Jr. in a battle for 2nd place. Right now they are separated with just 2 laps to go. 2 miles to run, and Paul Tracy will notch yet another win, the 7th of his career. White flag comes out. The final mile for Paul Tracy. Down the backside, Unser and Fittipaldi, neither one in contest as we're in the final lap now. Paul Tracy making that final turn in. And ahead, the checkered flag waits. Jim Swintal has it. And Paul Tracy has scored his first oval victory of his career. There's his mentor, Rick Mears, who was a master on the ovals, but still very competent on road courses. No move there for Teo Fabi.
So Tracy down to the hairpin.
Paul Tracy coming down from the top of the hill, makes his turn onto the pit straight, and for the 8th time in his IndyCar career, slowing down as he comes off the final corner. Paul Tracy takes the checkered flag from Nick Finoro. And Penske has broken the record. 12 wins by the Penske team.
You think that Pat Patrick isn't going to be chewing nails this time, boy? Just watch this. He's still having a controversy over the last race in Phoenix last weekend.
Al Unser Jr. crossed the line 22 seconds ahead of second place car as he crossed the line, taking the white flag, indicating the final lap. Teo Fabi acknowledges the black flag, comes into the pits. There is Al Unser Jr., the emperor of the beach, as he makes the final 3 turns. A left, then a right, and the checkered flag will lie ahead. Al Unser Jr. comes onto shoreline. Oh, so careful, as Christian Fittipaldi stalls in front of him. That's going to cost Christian Fittipaldi greatly, as Al Unser Jr. scores his 6th win at Long Beach.
A.J. Foyt.
Wow, they're coming up on lap traffic there.
That's Cheever going back. Eddie Cheever is not going to make the distance. Fittipaldi's going to first. Villeneuve into second. Cheever sliding back at 198.
Oh, wow.
Do you believe it? And it's a battle for the lead.
2 laps to go, 1 lap to go.
Getting down to the final moment. This is it, like Phoenix, but even closer. Fittipaldi in front, Villeneuve in second. Closing ground.
Wow.
Coming down, checkers are out. Give it to Fittipaldi. Emerson's 22nd IndyCar win.
White flag comes out for Al Unser Jr., so Unser Jr. is going to try to make it the whole way.
That piece of debris we saw was not from Al Jr.'s car. We do believe it was from Greco's. We mentioned that earlier. We do believe it was not from this Penske. So it's plain sailing now. We know he has enough fuel.
Gary Gerald.
And regarding DeFerrin, we just talked to Jim Hall. They have fuel pressure, so it wasn't out of fuel. It's something motor or engine related.
No, it was a very sudden stop. Jan?
A very quick update on Al Unser Jr. When Paul Tracy came out, his closest competition, he could slow down, lean the car, short shift. He should make it easily on fuel.
Unser Jr. working the fast part, the backside. He's done with that now. 29 seconds he is ahead of second place Jimmy Vasser.
He's cruising through these last S's and the last right-hander.
Still has power on the car, though. Jr. completes his second victory of the year, the 29th win in his career.
How he needs to handle the closing portions of this race. Incidentally, if the radios ever go out on these Penskes, they have a digital message board on the steering wheel that they use to send information to the drivers.
Well, it looks like everybody's going to give it a shot for the final lap. White flag is out. Al Unser Jr. does not stop. DeFerrin does not stop. Will they make it all the way?
Tire marks on the nose, so the Penske's been in battle. It doesn't have far to go now.
They came across the line. Unser Jr. came across 12 seconds ahead of this man. DeFerrin looking for his best ever result. Al Unser Jr. keeping power, but definitely reduced speed a bit. Squeezing it slowly off the corners. Gordon in third, Johansson fourth. Good result for Stefan. Then Rahal, Pruitt, Fittipaldi, Tracy, Zampedri, and Bosell. Villeneuve is out of the points as Al Unser Jr. takes the win.
Michael Andretti's going to have to pull something really, really special out of the bag now to take the victory.
Yeah, I think this is I think that's beyond him. Paul Tracy is driving absolutely beautifully. Next ahead of him on the road, about 100 yards ahead, is Scott Pruitt, who is running in 10th place. But it's a tall order for Michael Andretti. He's only got a couple of laps to do it. Oh, and there's a blow-up. One of the Toyotas has blown up as it comes past turn 3. There'll be a yellow flag out for sure.
It's the race to the line now. It's the race to the line. Oh, and he's just Paul Tracy, I think, has just won it, because it will be a yellow flag to the checkered flag. Still waiting for the end of this race. They'll come round. They're on their last lap now to take the checkered flag, and that's the way the race will finish under yellow conditions. But Paul Tracy will take the first Penske win in a long, long time. And we've got Nick Duzay with us of Penske up here in the commentary box. Nick, this must just be a wonderful moment for you as the checkered flag waves for Paul Tracy, winner at Nazareth.
Well, it's very hard to express a feeling at the moment. It's been such a long time, and the whole team, and Mr. Penske and Mercedes, and just everybody who supports us will be so thrilled with this. And I know what I'm going to do on the way to pool tomorrow. I'm stopping at the off-license. I'm going to buy lots of champagne for everybody in the factory, and then you'll enjoy it.
Is it going to work for Rahal? Is it going to work for Paul Tracy? They're so close now. Take the white flag. Well, Rahal slowed down, has he? I think he slowed down a little bit more even than usual. And Paul Tracy's coming round. Paul Tracy's taking the lead. Bobby Rahal is running out of fuel. The calculations didn't work. Oh no, Bobby Rahal goes on to the last lap. It's Paul Tracy who takes the lead. But can the Penske make it round the final 1.8 miles on their fuel calculation? Bobby Rahal, do you believe it? He came so close to winning for the first time in such a long time. But it's Paul Tracy, the winner of the last race at Nazareth, who lies third in the championship coming into this race. He has managed to eke out the fuel in the slipstream of Bobby Rahal, and he is going to come round to take victory here in Rio. He cruises out of the final corner, and Paul Tracy wins for Penske, wins for Mercedes, and takes his second victory in a row. Amazing.
That was fabulous. Maybe that's what he was doing. You know, we saw him quite a lot of the time when you were in the commercial, pulling out towards the end of the straight, which you only do to get cooling.
He's got to be careful not to overrun it, but now he's going to have the opportunity. He's going to go for the inside, surely, into turn one, down on the dirty stuff. Carpentier, they squeeze together, and Tracy goes into the lead. He gets past Carpentier. There's just 1.5 laps to go here. Tracy takes the lead of this race in the last couple of miles. Fantastic. He did it in Rio through misfortune to Bobby Rahal, but he's done it here at Gateway through sheer brilliance, through sheer driving skill. The white flag waves. It's the last lap here. Patrick Carpentier is in second. Zanardi is in third place. De Ferran in fourth. Jimmy Vasser is fifth. Guterman is sixth, but all eyes are on Paul Tracy. He's just got to get through the final turn now to take his hat-trick of wins. What a performance from Paul Tracy. A brilliant drive. Absolutely superb. He comes through, he takes the checkered flag, and the championship leader makes it 3 in a row.